Okay everyone, so EA Access is finally available on PlayStation 4. It's been out for about 2 weeks now, and this is well after it's been available since 2014 on Xbox One. But many of you are now asking, hey, I'd like to see a review of the service, and that makes a whole lot of sense, except EA is not really everyone's favorite company right now, and any EA Access video, or EA video for that matter, gets a lot of dislikes and unhappy comments, and that's understandable given their business practices. But I asked you guys genuinely on Twitter, would you like to watch a review? And half of you said, yes, I'm interested in the service. Is it worth it? And then the other half said, no, I don't like EA or what they've been doing recently, and I totally respect that. And then some of you even went as far to say that I don't care for EA, but I'll still watch the video to support you, and I'm eternally grateful for that. You guys are so cool. But all that aside, let's just go ahead with it. Let's give EA Access a fair and honest review on PlayStation 4. So first up, it seems many people, especially PlayStation fans, are unfamiliar with EA Access and what it does exactly, so let's get that out of the way first. EA Access is kind of like Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Plus mashed together for EA developed and published games. You get access to a vault of EA games that you can download and play, while also receiving discounts and trials, again strictly for EA's games. The service is $4.99 per month, or you can buy out an entire year of the service for $29.99, saving you 50% over the year long term rather than paying monthly. The service functions just like Game Pass or PS Plus in that, if you are no longer a member, you won't be able to start any of the games you downloaded from the vault until you become a member again. However, if you use a discount while being a member to purchase a game, and then you let your membership lapse, you can continue playing that game because you've still paid for it. Meaning, the discounts can be pretty beneficial long term. Speaking of that, it's 10% off across the board, so any EA game, Season Pass, DLC, or yes, microtransactions, it will be 10% off. Unfortunately, that discount will not stack if a particular piece of content is already on sale on the PlayStation Store. Basically, when you go with a purchase, the bigger discount will take priority. But when browsing the PlayStation Store, you will see your discount applied as a member to show you your potential savings, and any of the games that are free to download will be labeled as such with a download button already open for you. So what games are available? Well, you can easily find that in the EA Access app that can be downloaded for free from the PlayStation Store, and this is pretty much essential to give you an easier overview of what games there are and what trials are going on. If you happen to click anything, it directs you right to the store for that content, making it pretty easy to grab what you want. But what I found handy was a direct link to your subscription management in the PS4 settings. That way you can make sure you tick off auto renewal because, like anything, it's turned on by default as soon as you become a member. The variety of games is pretty good, I'd say. You're obviously getting most of the sports games, but you'll also find Mirror's Edge, Mass Effect Andromeda, Battlefield 1, 4, and 5, Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2, Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 1 and 2, both Unravels, and a few others. In total, you're getting 37 free games on PS4 as of this video. Well, Apex Legends is on there, and that's free to play. So 36 it is. Now, maybe 36 games doesn't sound like a lot, but keep in mind you can buy a month of service for $5, and that's the absolute minimum, no extra fees, no nothing. $5 and you can play all the games I just mentioned and then some. This is one of those things where, in all fairness, this is an absolute steal if you really know how to take advantage of the service and know what you want out of it. $5 is nothing, and sure, a lot of these games are old and can be bought on the cheap at retail or eBay. You're just not going to beat 36 games for $5, but that's assuming you know what you want to play and you play all that you want in a month. Now, even if you opt in for the year at $30, you're going to come out ahead after playing a handful of games, and that's excluding the discounts and trials. But with that said, you might be thinking in the back of your head, how does this service make sense for EA? On the surface, this looks easily exploitable for people to play these games and leave only dishing out as little as $5, and that's true, but EA wants you to use your 10% discount. That's where they're going to make their money, and this is where I think EA Access doesn't make much sense. Now, again, it's all about what you want out of the service. If you know you play a lot of EA titles every year, and you buy a lot of their content, it might make sense, but let's assume you won't play any of the games in the vault, and you just want the 10% off. Well, you'd really have to spend $270 worth of content, which would normally be priced at $300 to break even on your yearly subscription. And you and I both know some of their add-on content can be highly profitable, so it's easy to see why they'd offer free games and 10% off for $30 a year. And I'm not even trying to attack EA for this, but rather I'm explaining their business model so you have a better understanding of how you can use the service to your advantage. So if you're eyeing up that 10%, that's how much you'd really have to spend. If you go over it, then it's certainly advantageous. Same goes for a 1-month subscription. In theory, nothing is stopping you from subscribing for a month, make one large cart purchase more than $50 to come out ahead. It's really a matter of what you want out of it and making sure you use it. Subscribing for a year and then playing one game, only using your discount a few times, and then forgetting you're a member, and then the year is over, that's what you want to avoid. But thankfully, the service is so cheap that it'd be really hard not to get your money's worth. So here's the biggest drawback, specifically to the PS4's recent release. The vault is nearly half the size of the Xbox One's version. EA Access on Xbox will give you 74 games, meaning you're getting 38 less titles on PS4. However, this is primarily due to Xbox One having backwards compatibility, so pretty much all of those missing games, they're Xbox 360 titles, or they were exclusive to Xbox. This also means that due to the age of those games, they likely cost next to nothing to offer for free, so this might also explain why it's not exactly worth trying to offset the discrepancy in titles by having something extra on the PS4's version of the service. The gap is actually even more massive on PC though. Over there, the service is branded a bit differently, being called Origin Access, with over 200 games available. And there's even a more expensive tier where the games that are normally offered up as an early 10-hour trial are just completely playable for free off the bat. So it's not just the PS4 getting shafted, but rather EA has heavily segregated how the service works across multiple platforms. Which brings us to some common questions we'll cover up here. If it wasn't obvious already, subscriptions don't go to other platforms. You'd have to pay for it separately on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. And for those platforms, only the account owner has access to the games and discounts. You don't have to be online to play these games, but the games are tied to that ID and profile. So even if you have an EA Access account owner on a PS4, another user can't play those games. The only thing you need to be online for, though, is early access trials, and this is to count your playtime as you get 10 hours total. The benefit, though, is any progress you made can be transferred over if you buy the full game. Now, sure, these are a lot of negatives and restrictions, but it kind of just makes me want to circle around to the start of this review, which is that even on PS4, the worst version of the service, it would be difficult for you to not get your money's worth. So that's really what I'd like to echo here, is that know what you want to do, and this subscription can be an absolute steal. Especially if you are in a position where you want to play an EA published game, but you're also protesting the company's business practices. You're putting very little money in, and there's no commitment. With enough engagement long term, that could very well pave the way to the vault getting larger, and possibly increasing that discount even more, which really, the 10% off is where they're trying to make their money. You don't have to use it. On the flip side though, they're offering all these games for free in the hopes that you're gatewayed into purchasing DLC for the games you're now playing, so their current practices could potentially get worse, but it remains to be seen. For now, all bias or protests against the company aside, EA Access is a great value. Even on the worst version of the service, you can come out ahead. And that is everything you need to know about EA Access on PlayStation 4. And yeah, we don't get to talk about this too much, you know? I mean, we do so much PlayStation that we don't venture into the third-party stuff that frequently, unless it relates back to PlayStation or if it's for the greater good or bad of the entire games industry. But EA is one of those things we've missed out on, which is that, yeah, they make a lot of polarizing comments, or they have a lot of really predatory business practices, and none of those things are okay, by the way. I mean, I try to preach this every so often, which is that you as the consumer, you have all the power, vote with your wallet. You know, if you don't agree with the company and what they've been doing, I mean, don't buy their products, don't buy into their services, no matter how affordable or cheap they are. I mean, don't get into their stuff. And, you know, a lot of people are still doing that, which is good. At least people have that sense of direction with, you know, the message that they want to get across. And the thing is, for somebody like me, I've never felt the company was that bad. You still got to understand they're a major publisher that has funded a lot of big and small projects. And so it's one of those things where for every 5 or 6 bad things they do, there is 1 or 2 good things that they also pump out. And so they're not the worst thing in the world. I mean, we have a lot of bigger issues than a video game company, but yeah, they have been really falling hard in recent years. And it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing because you can't be in the industry if you don't love games, if you don't know games. I mean, that's just the way it is, right? And so the people at EA, they're people. They're human. They should know better. I mean, they should know what consumers want. Some of those guys at EA have been around for so long. Same with Andrew Wilson. He's been in the games industry for how long now? You would think these guys would have a better understanding of what consumers want and what would make them happy. You would think, right? But unfortunately, that hasn't really been the case. And even for me, like, I haven't played that many EA games in the past 3-4 years. But that's also because I haven't been able to play as many games because I work so much, so that might explain that. But even for somebody like me, EA Access would save me money, and that's really saying a lot because I just haven't been able to play nearly as much as I've had to. So, you know, take that for what it is, but you can certainly come out ahead if you're into it. But if you don't like what EA's been doing, don't subscribe to EA Access. Vote with your wallet. Anyway, that's all I have for you in this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't yet, of course, please subscribe for the best PlayStation news, reviews, and updates that are here on YouTube. And you can follow me on Twitter at MysticRyan so you can keep up with my gaming habits and pictures of my cat, because that's not stopping anytime soon, and she's sneezing in the corner over there. I don't know if you can hear that, but are you all right? Oh, God. Oh, God. Better not get snot on my floor, you little cat, you. All right, that's all I've got for you, so I will see you all in my next video, and you take it easy.